Hello, my name is Shannon Kennedy, and I'm the Business Development Manager here at Achieve It Solutions. Thank you for viewing our Resolv Third Party Management webinar video today. Today we will be reviewing Resolv Third Party Management and its integration to SAP Business One. We have found an increasing number of companies that are looking for third parties to help manage part of their business that can be efficiently outsourced. Such examples include one or more warehouses run by a logistics company, commonly referred to as 3PL or a third party. In addition, companies may implement non-SAP Business One e-commerce and point-of-sale systems to assist and facilitate their sales processes. While both of these scenarios can save you money and time, bring in expertise, and help with the scale and other business needs, it does introduce a new challenge as well. This is how we can ensure that data flows smoothly between these different companies and systems using Resolv 3PL management. This is going to offer you a simple and fast solution to that challenge by allowing data integrations that automate the bidirectional exchange of master data and transactions without the need for any custom programming. This simple-to-use mapping interface is available inside SAP Business One as an embedded solution and can let you control which fields you want to send or receive, which records should be processed, and allow these settings to be different for each third party. Resolv 3PL is going to allow you to set up an automated integration between your third party and SAP Business One. Today we will be reviewing our third party configurations, which include general configurations, import and export configurations, as well as using our service scheduler. Then we're going to take a look at our master data record for importing and exporting. These are the records that allow the system to be mapped according to what you need from your third party, as well as work with SAP Business One fields to import and export data and transactions. Last but not least, we will be showing you an example of an import and an export and reviewing all of your possible options utilizing 3PL. So now let's get started and take a look at our 3PL configuration. As you can see, here are some examples from your third-party configuration screen, as well as our third-party scheduler. Resolv 3PL Management allows you to set up an automated integration between SAP Business One and an outside system that you want to import or export data or transactions with. Because of the mapping capabilities in Resolv 3PL, you can easily conform to the third party's requirements for field names and accommodate any changes quickly and easily as they may arise. So first we're going to look at how we can set up our third party to use with 3PL. Once you've installed Resolv, all of our modules configurations will be seen under your administration menu in standard SAP Business One. You see that we have a Resolv setup option, and we're simply going to find the module that we're configuring and go into that configuration. So let's take a look at 3PL configuration. I'm going to use my standard SAP Business One previous record button in order to open up the record that we already have mapped for our third party, which is our outsourced warehouse. This can be compared to a customer master record, but for your 3PL. An important thing to note is that each of your 3PLs can have its own individual master record. Therefore, all of them can work independently of one another. On our first tab, which is our General tab, we set up our processing options. For example, if this represents a warehouse in SAP Business One, like our 3PL warehouse seen here, we can link it to a warehouse code. We can then also decide if we want to allow our 3PL to automatically add ship to records if there's a new address on a sales order coming in. And each third party can set these and their configurations all within this screen. We can also tell the system to create an invoice once a delivery is imported automatically. We can utilize the sales order counter, which enables you to keep track of changes within orders, and we can also choose to close our sales order after a delivery has been imported. Our next tab is our FTP setup. If a third party is using FTP to share files, 3PL can connect automatically to retrieve and upload these files based upon these settings. As you can see here, you do have to map your inbound and outbound folders, as well as input your details for your FTP server and credentials. This will allow you to connect to that FTP server to retrieve and upload the files selected. Our next configuration is for our export file paths. On our Export tab, we can choose which data we want to be able to send to this third party. For example, if it's an outside warehouse, it would be important to send them both the POs our vendors are going to send, as well as the sales orders we want them to ship to our customers. In order to process the orders, they will also need to know what our items and business partners are. So that means our customers and vendors need to be known to them. We can send those records as well. As you can see here, we have our master data information On our Master Data tab, we have our inventory transaction information, and we have our purchasing and sales information. Your purchasing and sales tabs include your purchase orders, sales orders, quotes, as well as your credit memos. On the Import tab, we can choose which data we want to be able to get from your third party. Continuing with our example of an outside warehouse that we've been using, we'd want to know when material is received against our purchase orders, as well as when our sales orders have shipped. Based upon this, we can import goods receipt POs and/or deliveries right to SAP Business One with all of the details required to finish processing your invoice. This means that you don't have to get reports or emails to confirm the ability to complete the invoicing process. You can automatically bill your customers instead of manually doing so. Similarly, we can also import new sales orders such as from our e-commerce systems, purchase orders that may have been created on a vendor's site, as well as updates to inventory created by your third party. As you see here, we have master data for our imports, documents for our inventory, as well as purchasing and sales orders. Lastly, in our configurations, we have our notification options. On this tab, we can see how Resolv 3PL allows for either an internal SAP message that will show in your SAP Messages and Alerts window, or a separate email to be sent if there are any errors seen in import and exporting of your information. So when this process is running in the background, fully automated using your 3PL scheduler, you'll still be aware of anything that needs extra attention and then can fix it. Now that we've gone over our import and export configuration, let's take a quick look at our service scheduler. Your 3PL service scheduler can easily be set to occur automatically in the background without any manual intervention from any of your users. The 3PL scheduler allows you to set a set schedule for imports and exports that will run automatically. This allows users to cut out the manual process of importing and exporting. For today's demonstration, we will be manually importing and exporting. As you can see here, a screenshot of your import configuration as well as your export configuration. Now let's learn what these values are, where they come from, and how we can set up mappings for our third-party warehouses. Now that we've set up how we want to work with our third party and which data we plan to exchange, let's take a look at our 3PL import and export configuration and how this information gets mapped and imported and exported inside and outside of SAP Business One. First, we're going to open our 3PL import configuration. I'm going to again use our SAP back button to open up a document that we already have mapped. This is a transaction type document and is regarding the 3PL import of deliveries. Within this screen, we can set up how the incoming data will be processed. The delivery, for example, we can specify if we're interested in importing the batches and serials, as well as how this order was packaged. Below in our main screen here, you'll see that we can set up our XML tags that the third party wants to use, and then pick the target fields from the drop-down box that correlate to your SAP Business One object name, like you see here. So even when working with the subtables, all you need to do is pick your target field because Resolv 3PL Management already handles the database relationship link to the different tables. Please also note that user-defined fields will also be available automatically in this list. Another point to make is because we're passing data back and forth, there's no need to share all of the data with the third party just to complete your next step. For example, if you want them to ship an order when we've exported the sales order, we do not need to include necessarily something like the unit price. Instead, we sent them the SAP Business One line number, and we'll get a response from them to make the delivery based upon the document and line number. All we really need to know is the quantity that was shipped, because Resolv 3PL will get all the other information from the base document when it copies it from the sales order, which includes the unit price. Now let's take a look at our 3PL export configuration screen. You can see that the process here is pretty much the same as your import configuration, except for this time we're picking fields we want to send versus receive. If the third party doesn't specify, you can send them with the SAP field name such as docnum, or we can change them to match our third party's requirements. There is also an option in your HANA function formula column that will allow you to convert data values, such as shipping terms, to match your third party's codes. This gives you complete flexibility by utilizing the SQL formula here. Also note that we have something called a static value column. This is used if you want specific fields to be hard-coded. Something like tax code or sales order would be examples of that. Once all of our setup is done, please note that it can be changed at any time if your third party needs to make any updates to the information mapped being sent or received. But now our 3PL is ready to be processed. Now that our 3PL is ready to be processed, we're going to take a look at our 3PL export management as well as our 3PL import management. Various documents can be imported and exported, but keep in mind that item master records and BP master records can also be imported and exported. This information is sometimes needed to be updated either in bulk or just updated on a constant basis, and therefore you can utilize 3PL for that as well. Our example today will be utilizing a purchase order and a goods receipt PO. Here you see some screenshots of our export item master documents and our BP master documents. For our 3PL import, we're going to be taking a look at the same information. We will also be reviewing our import and export logs. Here you see some screenshots of our 3PL import information. And now let's take a look at our import-export process in action. So now that we've reviewed all of our configurations, let's actually import and export some files. I'm just going to go to my Resolve menu option, go into our 3PL add-on. So let's take a look at our 3PL export first. For our 3PL export, we're going to take a look at exporting our purchase orders. Underneath my 3PL export menu, I'm simply going to click on purchase orders. The screen will open in a searching mode. This is searching the system for any purchase orders that are due to be exported. So as I mentioned, for our example, I'm going to be manually exporting our purchase order. In order to do that, all we have to do is click on our purchase order and click export. Now it will export this document for us. And if it lets you know that export was successful, this means that this exported document should now be in either our pending or our archived. As you can see, we have many different options for exporting, including sales orders and deliveries as well, all of which can be exported using your scheduler or manually if you choose to do so. You also have a 3PL log. Your 3PL log allows you to select a date range, and on this date range it will show you all of the orders or deliveries or goods receipts, anything that's been exported. This screen will let you know what's been exported and when it was exported. It will also let you know if there is an issue with the file. That's seen under your log message. So here you see it starting your export, which means that our document is being processed. However, if there's an issue with your document, it will also show an error message or more details regarding the issue here as well. Now let's take a look at our import. So for our import, since we exported our purchase order, let's import our PO receipt. Click on PO receipt, and as you can see, the system automatically goes into search. You can also click search if you think that the system needs to be refreshed, and that will run the search for you again. And here you see our related PO receipt, and this is going to correlate to our purchase order. Please note that if you would like to look at your file, you can also just simply click your golden arrow, just like in a lot of other standard SAP screens, and it will open up your XML file for you. This will allow you to see the exact information that's within your XML file. You can also make updates to an XML file that may have an issue, and that might be why it did not import or export. Then you can simply save the file again and copy paste it back into your processing folder. That will allow the system to know that that file needs to be re-imported or re-exported. As we mentioned earlier, you will also receive a notification if there is something wrong with the file, either via your SAP Windows messages or via email. Again, we would simply select our line and click Import Selected, and this will run the import file for you. As you can see with this option, it says that our XML file has failed because it could not determine our base document. That means that within our XML file, there is an issue regarding our base document or our purchase order. So again, we would simply open up our XML file, look for the error, fix the error, and put that right back into our pending folder. You can see here under your 3PL import, you also have many different options, including sales orders, deliveries, invoices, transfer requests, as well as item master data and importing documents. Let's take a look at our item master data. So this works just like your other export and imports, and it will allow you though to import a file to update your item masters. Under our import option, we also have a 3PL log that will show us a history of all of our documents that have been imported and their status. Thank you for joining us. I've included my contact information here. Please feel free to reach out via phone or email if you'd like